Welcome to the channel, Jaden Chase. Now, Michelle Thomas, who is representing Rushane in the murder case of Anika Slickianna Townsend, is stating that a confession was given to police by her client, but it was a forced confession, or a confession given under duress. Now, his attorney, Michelle Thomas, said that after contacting the lead detective on the case, she was told that it would be today before any question and answering session was conducted by law enforcement, and that she would be there. However, she's stating that she went to the Montego Bay lockup where her client is housed, or being kept by law enforcement. She was made aware by her client that a question and statement was taken from him by law enforcement. Now we don't know if I confess to the murder of Slickianna or to his new charges. It is said that he is now being charged for the abduction and the assault against his ex-girlfriend in 2018. Now it seems as if law enforcement has spotted a type of pattern on the part of Patterson. A murder and an assault against a woman took place. His name was cleared on that. How him do it, we don't know. That was in 2014. In 2018, again, an abduction and an assault. This time, murder was not committed. But now in 2022, he's being charged for that crime after now being a person of interest in the murder of Anika Slickianna Townsend. 3 females where law enforcement know about. Because at this point, the people are stating that they don't know what to expect from Rushane Patterson. Seeing that just a few days ago, it was being rumored that he was off the island and in Atlanta, Georgia, and that rumor was being propagated by him himself, the people. And it seems that this is also the belief of law enforcement, that this is a man that will say or do anything. Them also say when an assault took place, this time he's claiming on him by law enforcement, his phone was destroyed, and that was the phone which had the key pieces of evidence needed by both his defense and also law enforcement. If his claims are true, that there was an individual trying to make contact with Slickianna, and that he and her went their separate ways. To which some people say it sounds strange, because him himself pointed out that initially she never leave her yard to meet up with him. She should have go about her business. Him claims him know she should have go about. No one know where him know. Anyway, him say after it not go right, she contact him. Then they meet up and then go to some restaurant. People are saying if it never go as she planned, why she never go back home? And if he wasn't a ride home, why she contact him? And it seems as if from law enforcement started them story, it was definitely a confirmation that, for one, Rushane is still up on the island and that he's not being truthful. Remember, them said them already have some forensics. There's no way you can explain away the woman's fingernail being in a vehicle if there was no struggle. One nail, maybe. Or fingernail them. If I'm more than one, if it's one fingernail, then we don't know, maybe. Maybe my attorney can or him can explain that. But if a whole heap of fingernail, a different thing. If when them find him, he might have marks like him himself was involved in a struggle. Do you know it go? Obviously, law enforcement are look deeply into what take place. And them now just take film word for it. Even though at this point they must state that in the case of Slickianna, he's still a person of interest. But charges were brought against him for his 2018 case. We don't know what happened with the 2014 case. His name was cleared. We don't know if they might find another suspect or what did take place or if somebody else did commit that crime. But for him ex-girlfriend and the situation that took place in Duane Park, police are going to charge him for that. Now, law enforcement has also denied and refuted all of these claims, saying that there was no assault, there was no question and answering session without his attorneys present. They must say already have enough evidence to bring charges against him for the 18 abduction and assault against his ex-girlfriend. I'm ex-girlfriend. And it doesn't seem as if that case was about murder. So of course, she identified him, she tell him all I go on. It helped law enforcement to kind of see the pattern of his behavior as they continue to investigate the Slickianna murder. One thing for sure though, unless him explain and give all of the information to his attorney, she can't help him. Because if it becomes a scenario where law enforcement gives all this information to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors can, just as in the case against Noel Maitland, bring key pieces of evidence and present it piece by piece. And that is why law enforcement has not publicly stated all the evidence in their possession, whether for the Donald Lee Donaldson case or against Rushane Patterson. Now, his attorneys also explained why it took Rushane so long to turn himself in. The interview, he did say it was the previous Thursday he never turned himself in. He was a no-show, and law enforcement pointed that out. He then stated to his attorneys that he want to turn himself in and that he never do that on Thursday. However, he was apprehended the Wednesday. Now, she's stating that he just simply had cold feet. Him just simply get nervous and decide say him not gonna turn himself in. Now remember, this is the same individual where that say his life was that, he was receiving threats and things of that nature. Say people they want to do him things. You that think him that they want law enforcement to, put him somewhere safe. Instead, the people must say this whole Atlanta thing, this whole him have message and information and evidence, but him not get the law enforcement thing. And then keep in mind, if law enforcement did not locate Patterson, and with him having cold feet, being nervous, that means even though him that still have found the evidence, it would not be in the hand of law enforcement. I am still would have gone in. And that's basically what he must say. So at this point, even in the mind of the public, they must say these are not the actions of somebody who is innocent and is looking to clear their name, to point out to law enforcement. So what no, somebody else do it. Talk to me in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Do you think that just as the other stories have been in Atlanta, Georgia, and being off the island was fabricated, this story of being assaulted by law enforcement while in custody is also fictional? And the story of having information overall, whether it's on the phone or that would help his defense, was also fictional. Talk to me, tell me what you think. As I say, the pattern. Law enforcement, I use the pattern of 3 females. The people, I use the pattern of the statements given that were untrue. But say that maybe Patterson will do or say anything. Of course, the assault situation or something where the system and the law will have to follow up. They will have to look into it, lie or not. If you're new to the channel, it's a pass through. But you like the reason, of course, you like the point of view, I'm suggesting you subscribe icon, then the bell icon, of course, put it on all. And this is how you know will be notified of all fresh content. As soon as fresh content is uploaded and of course made available for you right here on the platform. The like icon is also in close proximity to the share icon. Drop a like and bust a share. Tell her friend, tell her friend, tell them sister and them brother them for check out check out the reason and also join the discussion. Now until the reason again, live, love and prosper, and of course stay tuned.